What's up, you guys? Marty Schwartz here with Marty Music. Got another gear video rocking with my man, Phillip McKnight.
Everyone.
A gear expert like the world has never seen, I think. I'm just going to compliment you. You
Thank
just say,
you.
oh, no. But you are, man. I'm learning so much hanging out with you, so it's super fun to get more gear information for my channel, so thank you for coming. You were telling me, I'm always learning something new, and you were telling me about a trend that's going on in the guitar world, and it's great to jump on it, and you were schooling me all about it, and I told you to stop because we weren't filming. It has to be content. Don't tell me now. Tell me now that the red light's on.
So we're going to talk about, there's a couple terms for it. Sometimes it's called baked maple, carbonized maple, or roasted maple. Roasted is, and you're noticing a lot of companies are kind of picking those terms, you know what I mean, depending on which one they want to do. What it is that they're taking maple and they're putting it in an oven for, seriously, about 350 degrees.
Into like giant pallet, like, or the big block?
Yeah. They're just like literally cooking this stuff in about 350 degrees. They're removing the oxygen from the wood, you know, from the area, and they bake them for 24 hours. There's different styles of doing this, but essentially they do the same thing, which is they're extracting all of the moisture out of the wood so that the wood becomes as dense as possible. It's becoming so popular now it was really popular in the high-end models. Now it's come to the mid and lower tier models. Who started it? I don't know, but I can tell you where the first time it got really noticed was about, now feels almost like 10 years ago, when Gibson got raided. Remember the wood?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where it really took some...
That felt like political espionage or something.
Yeah. So when Gibson got raided for the rosewood, they got all their rosewood confiscated. Gibson started roasting maple for the fretboards on that guitars. I think it was 2013. So if you have a Gibson guitar from those 2 years, the odds are your fretboard is a roasted maple fretboard. Obviously it was being done before that. Suhr guitars were definitely one of the pioneers of doing it. Like I said, I don't know the exact origins of who did it first, but those are the companies that like you started clicking on your radar. Really what you started noticing is like everyone now, it's like Ibanez, but more importantly, Fender now is putting out some affordable made in Mexico roasted maple aftermarket necks.
And you're saying it adds density, it creates density to the wood?
Well,
or is it more aesthetic?
Okay, so first it's an aesthetic. I mean, let's be honest, this is a really nice look. Yeah. Compared to just a piece of traditional maple that we see. There's arguments all day long about what it's doing sonically. Here's what I know it's doing. So again, I don't want to argue the unknowns. Let's argue the knowns. When they cut the frets to the width of the fretboard, if the neck was to shrink, the frets pop out. We call that fret sprout. If this is done correctly, obviously if they've roasted this or baked it, there shouldn't be any shrinkage because all the moisture has been removed. It almost carbonizes to the point where it's hard to get moisture back into it. So we're going to notice that, again, we shouldn't have fret sprout. And it allows manufacturers to do something really interesting. This guitar has stainless steel frets. And stainless steel frets are kind of tricky because they're not expensive to make, believe it or not, because nickel is actually more expensive. Okay, than steel. But it's expensive on the tooling cost. You know, when you file on these, they're going to wear your files down. So the idea that companies can do their stainless steel frets and put them on roasted or baked maple necks means that they're probably not going to come across any secondary issues of shrinkage. But it is becoming this thing that you're noticing everywhere. And I was telling you about this, I think the biggest like wow factor was when Fender decided to do it because, I mean, that's, you know,
one of the big players.
Yeah, even PRS has done roasted maple necks that they've done on guitars. So it's like at this point, I think it's an adopted thing. It's gonna be everywhere. And so I thought it'd be fun to talk about this one. This guitar just looks cool.
This guitar is awesome, man. I really, it's so fun. It's so different than anything I own. So what are we dealing with here?
This is an Ibanez AZ, and they make different models. They make expensive ones made in Japan. This is a more affordable, but I use that word loosely, Indonesian-made one because it's still pricey. Like I said, the big appeal, of course, the cool stain is nice.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Flame.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. But of course, most people that are going to be looking at this guitar are going to be wanting it for this baked, roasted piece of maple.
All right.
So the question I have for you is playing it.
Yeah.
How does it feel? What do you notice?
The way it looks and the whammy, it makes me want to play a style that I'm not good at, you know, like kind of more of the 80s rock, you know. I mean, it does have a certain density to it,
right?
I feel.
Yeah.
Maple, I do think of as kind of a softer feeling on my finger pads.
Right.
Do you think of that?
Yeah,
that way?
and something I noticed is when you touch anything, when you hit something, you feel the movement through it.
Yeah.
When I touch these, when I'm just playing, as I hit them, I feel like the energy is being transferred through it differently.
Right.
Again, I don't know if that translates in sound, but it definitely physically, you can tell that you're hitting something harder.
Yeah.
Like it feels harder
right.
than normal.
No, it does. It has a dense feeling to it. Now, was this like that bright yellowish orange maple?
Yep.
And
this
then
was
just baking it made it darker. Yep. No stain.
There's no stains on this. This is literally
so that is pretty cool.
From being cooked.
Yeah. I've never been able to describe why I would like a rosewood neck more than a maple neck, and I have guitars with both. I have a Telecaster with the maple neck, and maybe just I played more rosewood necks before, so I'm just more used to it.
I prefer them as well.
Yeah, yeah. You know, just putting my fingers, it feels real smooth.
Right.
Like maple in general. Maybe a bit more dense, like, and I don't know if that's even true, but it's my perception.
The problem is this is definitely unproven concept at this point. Go ahead, and now since we've kind of talked about this, you probably never played stainless steel frets either.
Well, just like on a Suhr guitar that I didn't own,
okay.
Like very briefly.
There is an interesting thing that happens with this type of frets. Let's go ahead and play some blues licks.
Okay, well, I can do that.
Yeah, and I want to get your response to playing the blues licks on.
Maybe more firm?
Yeah. Well, sure.
Or, you know, just there's a little more firmness when I was playing, but I don't know what that means.
They are harder than normal frets. And because they are harder, they can be polished to a higher sheen.
Ooh.
So there is...
Sheen it up.
Yes. It is less friction. So you're supposed to notice when doing bends, less friction when you're doing bends. So it should feel less, more effortless.
Smoother with the bends. All right. So. Yeah, slippery. More slippery.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you use that word. That is the word that most guitar players, when they're explaining them, they feel very slippery.
Yeah. But although you told it to me, so I'm sure part of it is like
there's a placebo in there.
Placebo in there, yeah. But as you say it, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, there's less friction.
The other advantage, oh, that sounds sweet. The other advantage is you wouldn't need to refret this guitar or crown and level it.
So that's what I was most familiar with the stainless steel frets. One of my local guitar mentors here, Bob Ryan, he has a vintage Strat, and he had to refret it so many times that it like just kind of gave out. So he wore the guitar. I mean, there was a giant divot here even just from his arm. I mean, it looks like a relic,
right?
But it's like he bought it originally. Like it's his playing that has worn it out,
right?
But he finally switched to a Suhr. I mean, he still has his vintage Strat that he loves, but for all the workhorse gigs that he's doing constantly, he got a Suhr because of those stainless steel frets.
Not only are they harder, because there's less friction, there's less kind of a cutting effect of the string into the fret. What they're trying to do with this technology or this idea, not just this company Ibanez is, but anybody doing this, they're trying to create a neck that's more stable. There's another thing. So remember I told you it doesn't accept moisture very well or at all. This would travel better, right? As it would react
to the elements.
Yeah, it'd actually have less reaction to climate changes. What they're trying to do with this is they're trying to say, finally, over years of analyzing guitars, saying, hey, look, if we take all the moisture out of the wood, essentially carbonize it a little bit, add stainless steel frets, you now have a guitar that's more stable, less likely to twist. The problem with this is these are great statements, but until we have years of time with these necks, we're not going to know. And
how long have they been doing baking the maple since the Gibson.
Yeah, I would
fiasco,
say
or?
it's been around for probably like anything a couple decades. You know what I mean, to some degree.
Yeah.
But in mainstream format, I would say in the last 10 to 15 years.
How old's this guitar?
This guitar just came out.
Okay.
This are within the last 2-3 years. I think this is a newer color. I can tell you this. I have taken, not this one, but one like this when I went to Germany. I swear, true story. I took it to Germany. I played the event. I was there for a week. I came back. I never tuned it once.
Wow.
It was the craziest thing I've ever experienced.
Wow.
So that doesn't make me a hardcore believer because that could be just circumstances.
Sure.
But I mean, literally, I haven't experienced that yet.
Real quick, just recap. You said something big that's happening with this concept is that now Fender is doing one.
Yeah, you have Music Man doing it. You have Sir doing the, not the affordable, but the higher end. Mm-hmm. Fender now is doing it in an affordable aftermarket, and I'm sure production's coming soon. So many companies. It definitely looks like not just a trend, but I think you're going to see it. There is guitars already in the $400 range that have this.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's something that you're going to start seeing all the way down the levels and back up.
Well, this one's awesome, man. I appreciate the gift. And you don't know it yet, but I really appreciate you giving it to me. Because we're not going to let you leave until you do. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I want to thank Phil McKnight again for hanging out. You guys got to check out his channel. There's a link below in the info box. I mean, this is only just the tip of the iceberg as far as like knowledge of instruments, especially guitar. So I want to thank you again. And if you guys want to see anything or have any questions or gear stuff you'd like to see us cover together, let us know in the comments below. And also go check out Phil's channel.
Give a thumbs up.
Yeah. Thanks again, you guys. We'll see you hopefully later.